was a way to show respect to the audience and respect your own business. It was a way to protect it.
I am Mr. Richie Moon, and I'm Kayfabe Ave, and I'm Kayfabe Focus.
It's Kayfabe Avenue.
Ladies and gentlemen, heels and faces, casual wrestling fans, and all you smart marks, I am Mr. Richie Moon.
And I'm Kayfabe AJ.
And I'm Kayfabe Focus.
And this is Kayfabe Avenue, and this is on Wednesdays, we watch wrestling.
Do we?
Yep.
For Doug.
So, yep, for Doug. So we're going to go over Fyter Fest, and is it Great American Bash, or is it The American Bash?
It's NXT, The Great American Bash.
The Great American Bash.
Is this like an extension of the Great Balls of Fire?
I hope not.
Nah.
I hope not.
This is the remake of a remake pay-per-view.
With a remix.
Yeah, this
So,
basically it's the
WCW Great American Bash that turned into WWE Great American Bash. There's now NXT Great American Bash. So I'm pretty sure they only brought this back to counter-produce AEW.
You know what we should do? I think that we should cover the Great American Bash and the history in another episode.
Maybe.
Because it has a great history.
I mean, it goes through hard times that in the Great American Bash. It was a prominent pay-per-view in WCW.
Basically,
it goes through WWE. We get a few years out of it. That
the grandson of the plumber.
They shortened it. They shortened it. It was Great American Bash that, and then it was just the Bash, and then it was just retired, and now it's back. Now it's back. No, it's not Bash at the Beach. The AEW.
So let me go through the card for both AEW and NXT. So on AEW, we had MJF and Wardlow versus Jurassic Express. Then we had Private Party versus Santana Ortiz. We had Jake Hager versus Cody for the TNT Championship. And then we had Hikaru Hashida versus Penelope Ford for the AEW Women's Championship. And the main event of the night was Kenny Omega, Hangman Adam Page versus Give the People What They Want, Best Friends. Over on NXT side.
Wait, hold up.
Wow.
Best Friends with
Friends.
Trent's mom.
Oh, yeah. We definitely going to talk about how Trent's mom definitely pulled up in the minivan. We definitely going to talk about that. Over on the NXT side.
Wait. Can we talk about how Trent's mom is sexy?
I don't really want to talk about that, but I'm pretty sure we can awkwardly segue into that after I get through the NXT lineup. We had a handicap match with Rhea Ripley versus Aaliyah and Robert Stone. And if Rhea Ripley loses, she was going to be part of the Robert Stone brand. There was a fatal four-way match with Mia Timms versus Tegan Knox versus Eva Marie.
So we on the rewatch of NXT Great American Bash, we definitely renamed her. At first we named her Tim's Yim. Tim's Yim. But I told Rich I feel like it's a better fit with Mia Timms.
Yeah, definitely Mia Timms. Definitely a better fit. And then we had a strap match with Robert Strong versus Dexter Lumis. And the main event of the night, a non-title match. Anyway, Io Shirai versus Sasha Banks. That was a nice card for NXT. So let's dive into it.
But was it really a nice card?
No, honestly, at first I went in there like not really expecting much out of the Sasha Banks match.
I thought that was going to be match of the night.
I thought it was going to be a great match, but I didn't expect anything coming out of it like really big storyline wise. I felt like it was kind of pointless a little bit for EO to have this match. This was really just we always wanted to have this match, so let's do it type of thing.
I'll open your screen. I'll look weird on your screen.
You look weird usually now.
You know, we should also do another type of series that we should probably do. Look into the NXTs when wrestlers came from one-off matches, like Jushin Thunder Liger versus Tyler Breeze.
I think Jushin did more than one in NXT.
No, I think he
did.
That was only one.
Oh well, that's a good segment. But
and then also Shinsuke Nakamura versus Sami Zayn when they first got there.
Well, that's not a one-off though.
Yeah. I mean, they're around each other now. Yeah. But as far as the
let's get into the categories.
As far as like the bash, I feel like Sasha Banks. I feel like that was just a real throwaway, and then the Rhea Ripley.
It was an exhibition match.
Yeah, the Rhea Ripley match. I didn't expect much going in, but I actually ended up enjoying it a lot more than I realized.
I don't know. I didn't like the Rhea Ripley match.
Let's get into the categories. So we have taken the ratings off, but ironically though, NXT has actually won the last 2 weeks. Last week they won by quite a bit, over like 100,000. This week they won by about 50 to 40,000. And I mean, both numbers have gone up. We always say, putting both numbers combined, like 1.5, 1.6 million people were watching wrestling on the Wednesday, and that's really the number that counts. But let's kick it off with the best wrestling match of the night. The best wrestling match, I think, between both shows, I think we've just seen was Timothy Thatcher.
Oni Larkin
versus Oni Larkin.
The minute I saw that match, I knew instantly. It took the night. Well, I watched AEW first. Yeah. Then I did a rewatch of NXT right after. So everything was pretty fresh in my mind. The moment from that first chop, I was like, this is stealing the show. This is match of the night. The hardest hitting match of the night. Very technical. A lot of transition submission holds. It was good. It was really good.
Classic
and this was like a big grudge match. Oni Larkin was seeking Timothy Thatcher out. He wanted to settle the score. So I definitely want to see this continue. I think you can definitely have a couple month rivalry with this one.
Yeah. Focus about you.
I think that it's finally time that they give shine to Oni Larkin. He's been working hard all over the place, whether it be the Cruiserweight champ division, whether it be NXT tag team championships, matchups and everything. Mm-hmm. They never really put him in that spotlight, They never really put him into that spotlight. It's like every single time they give him a little piece of the spotlight, and then they just jerk him right out of the spotlight, and then you forget all about him. And then the next time you see him, like, oh, he's still here.
Yeah, I mean, this one for people who don't see Oni Larkin all the time, this kind of put him back in the forefront of my mind though. Like this match is like go out your way, go see it. Hard hitting, crazy as hell.
So we got 1 point to NXT. So who was the MVP of the night between NXT and AEW?
Say that one more time.
Who was the MVP of the night between NXT and AEW?
That's a hard question. I can't think of one person in particular.
I think for the most part, AEW was well balanced on all aspects. I don't feel like one particular match stole the show over the other. I feel like it was pretty even on that end. I think I give it to Timothy Thatcher. Honestly, you had match of the night. I personally don't know too much about Timothy Thatcher, so this was more of a showcase for me. So I'd give it to Timothy Thatcher personally.
What about you, Focus?
I guess I'll have to give it to Oni Larkin for coming out and showing up and doing what he does best, even though most of the time you don't really see him do anything.
Okay. I'm going to give the MVP of the night to Adam Hangman Page because he really came through in that tag team match. He really won that match at the end versus Best Friends. Shout out to the Best Friends. So Kenny Omega. And
honestly, they made me think a couple times that they might have, won. That they were going to be the ones to dethrone Kenny and Hangman.
I thought that was definitely the case too.
Yeah, I feel like if it wasn't for the feud with Private Party looming in the background, they probably would have won.
Yeah. I feel like Hangman Adam Page. I was about to call him Hangman Pussy Pants Page. Page. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that actually makes sense. All coming around. Because at first I was like, why are they feuding? But then it's like it kind of comes around. But BTE is like a separate unit. It's like a universe in between AEW. Whatever. It's weird. Anyway. But yeah. So 2 points for NXT. So. What was so we went through the story? No, we didn't go to the storyline. Well, yeah. What was the best storyline from going through both shows?
Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho.
Oh,
You know what? I take that back. The build up for Mox and Brian Cage, that Taz promo, he was shooting from the hip.
He was shooting from the hip.
Yo,
oh, he's shooting from the hip.
He was shooting.
Was you trying to say that he was dead ass?
He was dead ass.
Dead ass.
But you know, throwing shots at the other company, bringing the realness of the COVID-19 situation with Renee Young, and you know, Moxley actually quarantining because of that, brought up the fact that, hey, buddy, we test every week here, so it's not that you have a case of that. You have a case of the chicken shits. You know, they set up the storyline for Fight for the Fallen, so they can get their match there. It was supposed to be on day 2 of Fyter Fest, so we're not gonna have that because of Renee Young's COVID-19 situation. So Taz, you know, furthering the storyline. I want to see this match even more now because he brought it to reality with this one. So I definitely give storyline of the night. Yeah, Brian Cage for sure. Honorable mention for me though, Orange Cassidy and Chris Jericho on commentary.
What about you, Focus?
I'm gonna go with FTR, Young Bucks, and Omega Page.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I was actually thinking that too. That's been kind of brewing ever since FTR has been in there. I would.
And the fact that Kenny just basically took the beer and just basically like, oh, I don't drink this, let me just pour it out.
Yeah, he definitely disrespected them. I think I would have to go with the same thing. I would have to go with FTR, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks because you can already see that storyline has just been.
I mean, overall, I feel like more than just a pay-per-view feel as far as like the great series of matches that AEW had, they also still kept time to push more story. Yeah. NXT was strictly a wrestling show this time. Yeah. We had maybe one promo from what's his name, Karrion Kross.
Yeah,
and
promo,
a little backstage hype for the ending of day 1 of the Bash, the Great American Bash, and I almost confused it for Bash at the Beach.
Oh yeah, because AEW did Bash at the Beach.
Yeah, because this the match tonight leads into the double title match next week. So
the gold rush.
There was only, you know, that one little promo.
It's like I've seen this match before
somewhere
earlier in this year, but it's like
I mean, multiple times. WrestleMania, Wrestle Kingdom.
Was it?
Yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking about?
Yeah, it's so many things.
Wrestle Kingdom definitely like the whole.
How many times have we had a 2-belt champion in the past year and change?
I mean,
we got Becky 2 belts right now.
Honestly, and
I mean not Becky, Bailey 2 belts.
Honestly, right now,
and we used to have Becky 2 belts.
Los Ingobernables de Japón, they have 3 double champions in their stable.
Yeah, they're holding it down right now.
I mean, I guess it's the era of the double champ. I feel like that's it. New Japan could get away with it because they have so many different divisions, so many like extra mid-card titles as compared to WWE,
which they actually care about and put them in
right.
The event.
WWE doesn't care about most of their titles, so for you to double champion somebody is like, okay, you're wasting a title and you're wasting a slot because now that same person's taking up the mid-card and the fucking main event. So I don't really like the double champion idea unless it was like something meaningful like back then, the Undisputed Championship. It was bringing WCW and WWE into one. That was like the last time, besides like the Gold Rush for New Japan.
My problem with
the last time I really cared.
My problem with New Japan's double champions is that they only put emphasis on the heavyweight and the IC belt, even though.
Oh, I'm lying. I am lying.
Wow.
The most recent in history that I actually gave a damn about a double champion situation was Seth Rollins versus John Cena SummerSlam.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, please, not another title reign. Please don't tie Rick. So
no, but back to what I was saying. My problem with New Japan's double champion thing is they only focus on the World and IC. They never focus on Takagi having both neverweight championships, or they don't, or the fact that Bushi has the never trios and the
I mean, even
You know what I'm talking
AEW,
about.
even AEW is kind of guilty of it too. We got Kenny being the AAA champion, and that's hardly ever mentioned. So
Yeah, I feel like they should mention more of their partnerships across the world, and mention that they have the
I don't think they
championship.
can really do anything with him right now. That's why.
I mean,
It's just like bringing up. It's just like having
he's still
a
a champion though.
It's just like having a pot promo.
At the end of the day, it's still an accolade, and it
That's
should
true.
be brought out. And if you're in a partnership,
I mean,
you
AEW
should
for
want to
one
promote
usually.
your other partners, just so they can promote you as well.
I mean, AEW, even though they don't have a solid partnership with New Japan right now, they don't stray away from mentioning accolades of New Japan. They haven't.
Yeah, they definitely don't.
When Wrestle Kingdom time was around and Mox was doing that, they actually did mention that Jericho and Mox did come back from Japan.
Jericho mentioned it on air on Dynamite. So that's never an issue. But speaking of, what do you think was the best overall show? I'm gonna go ahead and start that off. I mean, I think this is a classic case of the familiars. NXT may have had maybe the best wrestling show.
Wait, did we talk about Fyter Fest yet?
We're talking about both.
Yeah, we're doing it at the same time. But we didn't run
because we ran down the Great American Bash, but we didn't run down Fyter Fest yet.
No, he did. He gave both match cards, but we didn't go into specific detail about every single match yet.
Yeah, we're just like giving what's the best. So basically,
so I think best overall show obviously is AEW, just because, like I said, they actually made time to still push storylines. Mm-hmm. They always make time for comedic elements. They always really have at least one or two really great matches or something that stood out. So it's like you said, it's more the same. NXT is like most of the time they're the superior wrestling show, but
overall
these shows are supposed to be variety shows. Yeah. So AEW kind of always wins in that category. That's why we kind of took it away from like Wednesday Night Wars. It's more like Wednesdays we watch wrestling. So we're just gonna go over both of them. Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, is it really a war when all the fans are winning? Is it really a war when all the fans are winning?
I mean, ask some of these fans.
NXT just started.
Those are just God.
NXT just started winning the ratings a little bit, and even comparatively speaking, you're talking about like 42 weeks, and you're talking about like 7
cup of coffee.
I mean, Jericho keeps, making mention that although you did get more ratings, we won in the demographic that matters the most to advertisers. So, that's what I'm saying. We can harp on ratings all day. That's why we stopped mentioning ratings a long time ago when we talk about NXT versus AEW.
1.5 million wrestling fans are watching. That's the important number, not who won the individual.
So we're gonna take a quick break before we give you a few rundown and some details about these matches. We're gonna go to our sponsors for a quick second. Stay with us.
And we are back. Thank you, Anchor. You can always go listen there if you want to start your own podcast. Go to anchor.fm. But we are here with our last category. Which show are you looking forward to the most? Which show are you looking forward to seeing the most next week? AJ, what about you?
Just off the strength that they kind of spoiled the main event. They leaked the main event.
Yeah.
I mean,
who was the person who did that?
It was a trainee in the performance center. But the thing is,
he's no longer a trainee.
I know
he's stupid for that.
The thing is, we know with NXT, they always
we knew, but there was still
we don't know.
There was still other things that could have happened. So it wasn't.
I mean,
for sure, but now we know for sure exactly what happened.
I mean, but
as far as the main event goes. So,
but the thing is that was just one of the endings that they shot. We don't know how many endings because remember back in the day,
they shot.
I mean that's
won
true.
The championship.
Yeah,
and that never happened.
That's true too.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully is a fake, and I mean. I don't mind the result.
Yeah,
I'm happy for the result.
I don't mind the result.
But if it is a fake, that's cool too, because then it's a swerve.
I don't want to be spoiled.
With that being said, I don't know if it's 100% true because that is a good point. But regardless, NXT waited till the actual event to announce what matches were going to happen next week. for the most part, outside of the little Gold Rush tournament that they have. So I would say AEW automatically wins in that category for me because I'm already invested in a lot of these storylines that are happening next week.
Wait. Did they announce the card for next week?
Yeah, they did during the show. So
I totally forgot. Even though something.
Yeah, we'll get a prediction show up soon.
So the championship match.
So with that being said, I'm gonna have to go with AEW because I don't even know what the card is.
Yeah, exactly. So the only thing is pretty much what the main event match is. Yeah. Everything else was like announced throughout NXT's bash. So if you missed the quick commercials then you completely miss what the card is. But AEW, like I said, we have the champion versus Orange Cassidy. Hilarious feud so far. We've been invested for weeks. We have the Bucks and FTR versus the Lucha Bros, which are returning, and the Butcher and the Blade. So those two matches alone are like outweighing what I already know about the main event.
I wonder what they're going to do for the main event, because I know that the main event's not going to happen now because Moxley's not going to.
They're probably going to have a cage squash match in the beginning.
Yeah, that makes the most sense.
And
that makes the most sense.
Out with the 8-man tag.
Yeah, they'll probably end it off with 8-man.
I think the 8-man tag was going to be the main event regardless.
Nah, AEW is very traditional. The heavyweight.
It would have been the heavyweight championship.
Yeah, heavyweight championship is.
Yeah.
But that I can't wait for that match. So that FTR and Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros and Lucha Bros.
So
I think Omega Page is going to have a huge influence on that match.
Yeah, I definitely think we might. Who knows? It might.
You know what? I didn't even think about that little curveball. It might not be just Kenny because he still has that lingering thing with Matt Jackson too, and then with him kind of siding with FTR on this argument over the Kenny spilling the beer, we might actually see Hangman screw him. I don't, like I was saying earlier before we did the podcast, I don't even mind seeing Hangman eventually turn and join up with FTR. They kind of fit more with his style, the cowboy whipping ass, beer drinking, get it done in the ring style. So
honestly, I feel what's gonna happen is that the Elite's gonna split from the Elite as a total group.
I've said it from the beginning of AEW. The Elite doesn't need to be together.
Cody and Hangman's probably gonna join up with FTR.
I don't even want Cody. Cody's fine by himself the way he's been running.
He's fine by himself, but the thing is, his style of wrestling matches with Hangman and FTR more than it does Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks.
It might be the new Four Horsemen. That could possibly happen.
Those are rumors going around too. I wouldn't mind seeing the new Four Horsemen either.
But I honestly think, when you really look at it, the Elite is split. The Elite is back to the original, and that's the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega. I mean, Hangman is there, but you already see that. You already see how they play that storyline out. He's kind of lingering on the end.
Yeah, even though he said he's in a better place on BTE, he's still playing that, distant, barely talking.
And Cody's doing the American, the Nightmare Family. Like that's really like his thing. Like he even like spoke on that. Like the Elite is really back to like the original.
Yeah, I mean, what was that, like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks ago?
Yeah,
he said, am I even a part of the Elite?
It's really I mean, but like you said, they don't really need to.
I thought from the very beginning they should have not went in as the Elite. I get it because your argument was we needed them because they were that brand is what brought the people in and they needed to help the other people. I get that sentiment, but they were so big already, we didn't need them teaming. And for the most part, they've kind of done their own. They kind of done their own thing. They just kind of group up together. When they need support.
Because they've gotten the casual fans, and you needed the Elite together at first to bring in the casual fans, bring in people. Now that they've started to establish more of their baseline. Yeah,
but honestly, if you look at that roster, they're starting to pick up so many names that are big in their own right. That honestly, arguably, they have one of the best rosters on the planet right now.
They do.
Arguably, like but on all levels too, like comedic aspect.
Come on, you guys don't know.
You gotta give the people what they want.
I got. I'll give you guys a hint. I want my
Baby, bad baby, bad baby, bad baby, bad baby, bad baby, bad baby, bad
I want my baby
baby. Listen, BTE definitely made me want some chilies that day. I can't even lie.
Yeah, I ain't gonna lie.
But let's quickly run through the card and give a few highlight moments from each match and a few thoughts on each match.
Well, as far as
so let's
we don't do the war.
How about we start with the person with the show with the least points this week? NXT.
I mean, don't say that.
I mean,
they barely won.
It was a tiebreaker. It was a tiebreaker.
They won in the ratings, though.
Yeah, they won in the ratings.
I mean, we don't technically count the ratings anymore.
Yeah,
so, you know.
I mean, highlights. I mean, Oni Lorcan versus Timmy Thatcher was a match tonight. That was a really good match. I cannot sit here and say that I really paid that much attention to the Roderick Strong and Dexter Lumis match.
I think it was a good match.
Honestly, it was good. Every time I see Dexter Lumis, I just think of Dexter Morgan. I don't know if that's a good thing.
I mean, that's his character.
That
was his character in TNA. That's his character.
Oh, was it Dexter Morgan?
That's big. That's big. If you look at this TNA run,
I don't really watch TNA for reasons.
But the thing is, if you watch NXT, it's the same exact character.
That's what I'm saying. I keep thinking of Dexter, the character, when I see him.
That's
but
what he's supposed to be.
Because
his name comes from Dexter, and his last name is Loomis, which was from the Halloween franchise.
Wasn't Loomis Jason?
No,
that's Voorhees.
No, yeah.
Who the fuck is Loomis?
Loomis is Dr. Loomis.
Dr. Loomis from Michael Myers. Yeah,
Halloween franchise.
Wow.
That's where he got his last name from.
Yeah.
I would never.
No, I knew that Loomis shit sounds so familiar. I just couldn't pinpoint it. You're right.
I think
it was Halloween.
Sasha Banks really did what they were supposed to do.
What do you think about the opener? Let's start with the opener. The Fatal 4-Way for the number one contendership match. Fatal 4-Way elimination match.
I mean, it was all right. It just ended, it ended up with Tegan Knox and
I think that's a lot of people's biggest downfall of this match is that Tegan Knox, out of all people, was the one who won.
Honestly, when I was debating during our prediction show, she was the one I was going to say before Candice LeRae, just because in simple fact, I felt like she was the only face in that match.
I mean, I just think it's the Evil LeRae's time. We need Evil LeRae to shine right now.
We need Evil LeRae to have more build up so that when it actually does happen, it's gonna be a big takeover. Yeah,
because she does suffer from the I'm a couple, so we're gonna have to be a couple on TV syndrome.
So what I believe that they're just gonna have to build her up by herself. It's gonna be in a big takeover. She's gonna win the belt from whoever it is, the champion is at the time, but they're not gonna spoil it right now on a normal ass TV USA Great American Bash thing. They wanted to save it for takeover.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You don't put big matches on a counter program.
So the next match was the Oni Lorcan match, and we don't even have to get into too many details. Best match of the night period. Technical, hard hitting. Go watch that. After that was which match?
I mean, you had the Rhea Ripley and Robert.
The Rhea. See, this is why I had no anticipation of this match going in. So I'm already not really sold on Aaliyah. Before, I don't really like this Robert Stone gimmick, but it was funny. Aaliyah did show some improvement in her game. I will give her that because usually she came off like she really didn't have no technical skill at all. She did a couple of hurricanranas that looked pretty dope. She works well with Robert Stone.
No, I don't know what's the
but
thing.
It made me believe in Rhea Ripley a little bit more again because she was showing her strength. She was manhandling both of them, and she worked well being in a handicap match. And I definitely say it gave me a lot more than I expected going in. So I wouldn't completely tear down this match.
She will never get over this song.
I mean, she's still canceled from the barbecue. Go check that out. And check the reason why we canceled her.
Honestly, I'm going to have to be a huge rant about this match because I just want to say first and foremost that I do not like Roger. What was his name?
Robert Stone.
AKA
Tony Khan.
I don't like Robbie E. I didn't like his character in TNA.
Yeah.
I didn't like his tag team partner, Jesse Corderas. I don't like BJZ. I ain't like none of that bromance stuff. However, I feel that all of that is in comparison to the match that he did right now. Because in TNA, he was a tag team champion, even though it was part of Romance and they sucked. He was still a champion, but now you have him losing to Rhea Ripley in a 2-on-1 match.
Yeah, I mean, he doesn't get that. That's the thing. You tear down these people before they have any chance to succeed.
And it's like, I hate this guy. I really strongly dislike
so
this guy.
He's your TJP.
I mean, nobody's worse than TJP.
I
mean, him and DJ.
I just want to punch TJP in his face. I don't know why. He has one of those punchable faces.
If you show me,
he's an amazing wrestler, great talent, and would never take that away from him. He just has one of those douchebag punchable faces.
If you show me a picture of DJZ and TJP, I really couldn't tell you the difference. They both suck.
Well,
with that being said,
tell him how you really feel.
With that being said, I hated Robbie E, but you don't do this guy like that.
Yeah, I mean now he has
him lose cleanly on a handicap match, intergender handicap match, and this guy was a former tag team champion.
I mean, he did a couple things in TNA, but
that's
neither here. I believe he did have the X Division title though.
And then you brought him into NXT, and poor Zack Ryder, because you put him as the manager to Zack Ryder's girlfriend. So mind you, this was a guy who was copying Zack Ryder's gimmick. Comes to NXT, and you put him that, and then you release Ryder to give him gimmick.
When you put it in that context, that's crazy.
This and then for all that to have him lose to Rhea Ripley in the handicap match.
Welcome to WWE.
Yeah. So moving on to the next match, Paul Robbie E. Robert Stone, whatever he's going by now. Yeah, you're not getting nowhere. Nobody's gonna get behind. They're gonna get behind you as a comedy gimmick. Yeah. You know, this is why I say like. Learn the difference between good comedy and comedy is gonna bury you down the line. Nobody's gonna. You're Santino Marella. We enjoy you. We like watching you on TV, but you're never gonna be more than a comedy act, bro.
How the fuck do you go from a tag team championship to losing to a handicap intergender match? Cleanly.
All right. So the next match on NXT.
I mean, that's true. I mean, we pretty much really went through all the matches.
All right. So in AEW.
Yeah.
What was the opener for AEW?
The opening was MJF versus Wardlow. I mean,
okay, actually, I do need some context on that match because I missed that first match. I missed the first couple minutes of AEW, so I didn't see that match.
I mean, it was a good match. Wardlow ended up getting punched in the face by MJF. He went for the punch and he stopped, and Luchasaurus hit his foot into him. Luchasaurus got the win on Wardlow. You guys went back from the match last week. It was a good match. They had further tension between Wardlow and MJF.
Oh,
and
man.
Jurassic Express, got their win back over the heel. So, it was a good opener. MJF cut a really good promo at the beginning of the match, but he had on a terrible outfit. So
I think he's losing his kind of style. That scarf is not doing it. He thinks he could put that scarf on any outfit and make it work.
Nah, it wasn't a scarf. He just has some.
You know what it is? MJF can't beat MJF on a network. I'm gonna just say it.
He cut a crazy promo last night.
But was it on MJF's level though?
Yes, it was.
But I'm talking about real uncut MJF.
He told Jungle Boy Jack Perry to go home and count over your daddy's money. Yes, he was jabbing at him.
He was shooting
to a point where Jungle Boy just hopped in the ring. Like they didn't celebrate nothing. He just hopped in the ring.
Compared to past MJF promos,
he just trying to get popping off rip. Like MJF can still be MJF. Like he can still be a great.
What was the next matchup for AEW?
Private Party versus Santana and Ortiz.
Okay, this is where I tuned in. This is where I finally tuned in.
I mean, it's shout out HOG alumni. You know what I'm saying? They were just out there getting pop and doing what they do. You know?
Honestly, I feel like this was a good rebound for Private Party. In our prediction show, we kind of all lean to Private Party taking this match. The way they pulled it off, good match. Like, I feel like Private Party been suffering from, like, I don't know if it's rust from not being used in the main show so much, or
everybody had time off.
yeah, I feel like they were kind of rusty a little bit. I feel like this match was like back in their stride, and I hope that they start elevating in the card.
Next week they got a title match.
That was for the title match?
No, the next week got a title.
You know what's crazy?
It wasn't for it, but they got a title match next week though.
What the fuck?
You know what's crazy? They can't even come.
No, I'm saying for number one contendership. Because right now the Saxon division is crazy. Like, we have FTR
they're having a title match next week,
trying to go for it. We have, the best friends.
They have a title match next week though.
Wow.
It's crazy because right now they're out of New York State, and I don't think they're gonna get back in anytime soon.
Well, they would just have to quarantine for 14 days.
I mean, I'm pretty sure AEW is accommodating them or paying them well enough, so they'll be okay.
14 days, and they're probably going to have to go back to do another show. And that's another 14 days.
I mean, yes,
it's going to keep on and on and on.
They're deemed as an essential business, so I mean, they probably are just staying in Florida.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. AEW is probably accommodating them in some way, or if not, the pay should be sufficient for you to rent a house for a little bit.
Yeah, Tony Khan spoke on that.
Think about it. They're wrestlers. That doesn't mean that they can't go. Let me just rent this apartment real quick, $1,500 apartment.
No, I'm just saying that they can't come back, see their families and such. So,
I mean, that's the risk of the road. That's the wrestler life.
I mean, Tony Khan said,
and AEW is really flexible on their schedule. So I mean, if they got to put in the work, they got to put in the work.
They're once a week. So
let's be real. They went from training in HOG straight to the main show, pretty much. So if they got to pay their dues this way, they're paying their dues,
Next match we had was Jake Hager versus.
This was the shaky match for me. This was the shakiest match of AEW.
What was shaky
finish? I don't know. I feel like Cody gels better with like more wrestling style people, not strikers and some like submission like wrestlers like Hager. I don't know. I feel like their styles didn't mesh well.
I feel like these two just don't have good chemistry together. That's all.
That too, maybe they're because this looked like it's gonna continue the way it ended.
Well, it looks Hager's probably gonna be suspended for a couple of weeks.
Yeah, because in AEW they actually take real offense to attacking the referees, and after the fluke pin, I don't know what that situation was. It looked like a botch
to me. He got him in a choke, and then he just basically reversed it.
It was like a choke. He got knocked out in the choke. The announcers were saying Cody's knocked out.
Yeah,
and then he got the pin somehow.
Yeah,
so
he said that he basically was unconscious.
It was a weird finish, but I feel like that was the shakiest match of the show, and it wasn't bad by any means. It just had a weak finish.
It was Cody's probably weakest title defense.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So next up
we had.
I think at this point we had that fire.
Yes.
Brian Cage Taz promo.
Yeah.
When he was shooting.
I'm not exactly sure when that fell in, but yeah.
I'm pretty sure this was that point. That was a great promo. Check it out.
Yo, Taz has been shooting for the last.
Not only that, he's doing wonders for Brian Cage. Like, I don't know how great Brian Cage is in his promo work, but he doesn't have to say much. He's Brock Lesnar in the game right now with Taz. So more of that.
I hope he's teaching him more suplexes.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
He definitely should take on more.
Taz is definitely one of the best suplex people in the game. So
he should take on more of Taz's moveset. Next up, we had the AEW Women's Championship between Penelope Ford versus the champion Hikaru Shida. And I just want to shout out, that was Penelope Ford's best match in her life.
Yeah, for sure. She actually made Shida look like she had to work hard for this one.
She was gonna win a couple of times last night.
She made it seem like Shida had to work hard for this one. Shouts out to Penelope Ford. I feel like she's definitely improved throughout the weeks and makes people want to see more.
Yeah, she's definitely
she's rising. She's rising.
My only complaint about this match was the cutter that she did.
That cutter was wild trash.
Yeah.
But the revert, you talking about the one when she jumped to the top rope, she did the Matrix joint?
No, not that one. I'm talking about the one where she ran into the rope, to the springboard, into the Oscar type of thing. Or the lethal injection.
Yeah, I was pretty sure.
That didn't make any sense to me because it's like you're running towards Sheeta. Sheeta didn't do nothing, so you ran past her, and then Sheeta's looking at you do a handspring. Obviously,
Sheeta should have need you or done something.
It was
moved out the way.
2 seconds. You would have moved out the way.
Yeah.
And it's like that one bad time right there. It's just like it just took me out of that element because it's like you could have just moved out the way for that.
Yeah,
like your time, you guys' timing was off on that.
Yeah, there was a couple things that was off time, but I thought that was a really good match. I felt like the best match. And the next up, we had the main event of the best friends. Yo, first off,
the entrance.
The best friends came out. Because was it Chuck's mom or was it Trent's mom?
It was Trent's mom.
Trent's mom pull up in the minivan.
First of all, hold up. We gotta hold up. The way the confidence in Trent, the arrogance having his mom there. Like, this was a new Trent.
Yo,
like,
man, best friends is it.
I'm like, no, he didn't bring his mom.
Zack Ryder was like, where's Trent? And Trent was like, I'm right here.
Yo, so they came out with the
hilarious,
super dope intro. You know what I'm saying? Entrance had their mom drop them off, and then Kenny Omega, Hangman Page, and then after that, I think actually before that, Orange Cassidy came out. Did he come out for this match? No, he came out before this. I think I'm getting a little bit confused.
Yeah, I mean it was. He
came out a little bit earlier. He didn't come out for the main event. He came out
to talk shit to Chris Jericho.
Yeah, well, to sit next to Jericho and get Jericho pissed the fuck off.
He was talking mad shit. You ain't hear him.
He wasn't trying. No, he wasn't trying. That's why.
Yeah, I ain't saying nothing. So that was
like that right there. Those are fighting words.
That was hilarious. That Chris Jericho was getting so pissed off.
They're like, Jericho, he's not doing nothing. He's just sitting there. He's just sitting there, son of a bitch. I'm gonna get at you. The way he jumped up, act like he was gonna attack him, got on him, and then held himself back. Like, I'm like, no, Jericho is the GOAT. Jericho is the GOAT. He's hilarious. But
shout out to Jericho. It was Canada Day yesterday.
As far as the main event goes, hot take, is this the best friends best match in AEW so far?
Might be. Yeah. They've been putting together some classics.
The only other one that I would put above this is probably the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match that they had. That was the number one contendership to Hangman and Kenny.
I feel like this one was. I mean, it was one. It's different. It's a different.
Yeah, I mean, Trent.
I mean, you guys gotta think about
Trent was going in
facing
that it was like kind of like a reverse pile driver that they did. Oh my god, it looked like he was trying to take Kenny's head off.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple of hard hits, technical difficulties. there was a couple of really hard hits. Like they were going all out. I feel like this is probably one of the better, especially as far as one-on-one goes. I definitely think this is the best one-on-one performance.
No, I feel the same.
I don't know. I think the best friends with the Young Bucks was kind of better.
I mean, I remember that match, but I'll probably remember this more. I mean, it is more fresh, but I mean that was a good match too. But I feel like I agree. I feel like this is best friends really their best stuff in AEW. Hangman Adam Page, he pulled it out at the end. He really took over and really won that match for him with the buckshot lariat, pulling back out the dead eye. We haven't seen that in a minute. And that's how did he win? No, he didn't win with the dead eye. He ended up doing
he did a buckshot lariat, and I think that was it.
Was it the buckshot lariat to the dead eye? I feel like did he win with the dead eye?
No, he didn't win with the dead eye.
Oh, he did. I think he did a buckshot lariat.
He hit him with a hard regular lariat, and it didn't take him out. And then he got pissed off. Was like, I'm gonna lay this one in, and buckshot the shit out of him, and won it like that. Yeah, but these guys were kicking out hard shots, hard big moves. So hats off to the best friends. I definitely like their growth in AEW so far.
Facts, man. They're doing really good things with them, man. And that being said, man, we're gonna gear up for week 2 of Fyter Fest and the Great American Bash from NXT and AEW. NXT, I mean AEW pulls this one out. I thought NXT was gonna pull it out this week, but AEW pulls it out the last second with the most anticipated show for next week. And that's really kind of by default because they already have their card out.
Yeah.
And NXT doesn't, so maybe they could have.
Well, they have it out now, but they waited to the last minute to build the card.
Yeah.
Why are you? This is my thing. They just had.
Have we look at the card real quick?
Yeah, look up the card, but let me look it up.
Yeah, look it up real quick to see who's fighting next week for. But I mean, honestly,
because right now I'm curious because I want to know.
I'm super excited for that FTR and Young Bucks versus Lucha Bros.
This is the thing.
That's gonna be awesome.
You can tell that this is such a counter-producing moment for them because we just came out of NXT in your house pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You didn't give no time to build any part of Great American Bash.
It was just a counter-produced Fyter Fest. Just like stop it, and that's not cool. Like that's not cool at all. Like. But I mean, they won ratings, so I guess.
My only complaint about Fyter Fest, they should have put more storylines into the like in Fyter Fest like they did last year. Like have salami sandwiches. There's the quarantine lunches and everything, and it's just like a cheese sandwich with tomato.
So next week we get Tegan Knox versus Shirai.
Mm-hmm.
Could be for the side of Cole versus Keith Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Maybe,
they're kind of mixing. They're mixing both shows.
I think it might be.
Yeah, I think that's the only announced.
So yeah.
So far, it looks like.
I mean,
yep, and as of yesterday.
That's all right. I mean, we'll be back.
I'm pretty sure Damian Priest is probably going to challenge down.
I mean, I'm pretty sure he's going to give us another long-winded promo.
Bodie Whittaker will come out there and put his infamy to his archer, and then I will go through all the 12 pantheons of the Greek gods and fight each one through.
Yeah, he definitely sounds like he's trying to be all mythical with his shit.
Bro.
Like,
but
no, bro, you put
I just asked you how it's like, bro, I just asked you how your day was.
But with that being said, let's not get into the Damian Priest ending. So
what do you mean? What do you speak of?
You know what? We need a Damian Priest episode. We just act like Damian Priest.
We just all talk like Damian Priest.
All talk like Damian Priest.
We make sure that we emphasize every word.
Because I like watching Stephen Amell too much.
Yeah, Zach had his hand on. That's why I stopped.
You failed this city. You failed NXT.
You have failed NXT.
You have failed NXT, but you know that we can do this all day. With that being said, folks, where can I find you at?
YouTube, stay focused. Find me in the Facebooks on my many different names. Instagram is Kayfabe_focus. Twitter, stay focused.
You have to think about that a lot, don't you? Yeah, well, you can find me.
I have all that shit. I still don't do shit.
Yeah, and you can find me simply at Kayfabe_AJ on Instagram, as well as the Kayatic Cheese podcast. Please tune in. And Rich, on to you.
You can find me at Mr. Richie Moon on all platforms, podcasts, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. You can find us at Kayfabe Avenue on Instagram, YouTube, like, share, and subscribe, and on all major platforms where you can listen to the podcast. And we are even on the Twitter.
We finally made it to the Twitter.
I am Mr. Richie Moon. That has been Kayfabe AJ. That's been Kayfabe Focus. This has been Wednesday night. Well, not even a Wednesday night wars. This has been a 4 dubs because on Wednesdays we watch wrestling.
Do ya?
This has been Kayfabe.
Do ya?
Do ya? And that has been a wrap for this week. Kenny, take us home.
Bye.
Goodbye. And good night. Bang!